All right. Can you see me? Is the sound okay? The video okay? Let me know in the chat. Awesome. So thanks for joining for this session. Let's wait a little bit for new attendees to join us, and then we'll start this session where I share my experience using infrastructure as code to help DBAs leveraging PostgreSQL and monitoring on a Azure cloud. So just bear with me a few minutes, just 5 more minutes, and then we'll start the session. And as you can see behind me, yes, I'm in the basement of my house. Yes. We are in France, southeast of France, and it's around 7 p.m. 30 now. So, and we are together for 30 minutes to speak about PostgreSQL monitoring, leveraging infrastructure as code. Two more minutes, and then we'll start the session. No worries at all. We'll have plenty of time for questions. Hope you guys will like this session as I like to prepare it. It was fun. All right, there we go. Start up. So who am I? My name is Rachid Zarouali. I'm a freelance, saying that my slides are in French. This one, obviously, mistake. And I'm French, yes. I'm a freelance. I work as a cloud architect mostly with most of my clients. Basically, what I do in my day-to-day job is helping my clients moving to the clouds, meaning moving to Azure, Google, AWS, building new infrastructure, leveraging containers, Kubernetes, CI/CD platforms, either using Azure DevOps or GitLab, and a lot of different tools, technologies, and stuff, with the same goal, making that transition smooth, easy, and safe. Aside of that, I'm a Docker captain in Microsoft Azure MVP, meaning that I've been appointed to be some kind of a, how could I say, point of contact in the community to help newcomers to join the community, learn how to use Docker, Azure, organizing workshops, organizing meetups, also speaking at conferences as today, and so on and so forth. You have my contact on this slide. You have my Twitter account, my email, and the URL of my website. If you have any questions after this session, then please reach out to me and I'll make sure to answer whatever the questions you have. Right? So what do I do? And not who do I do? Man, I have issues. Anyway, so what do I do? So as I said, I'm helping companies moving to the cloud, but that's not the only thing I'm working on. I'm working on infrastructure as code, basically helping developers, DBAs, to leverage tools like Terraform and Ansible to deploy their application, to deploy the platforms on different clouds, and automate as much as we can everything that is done manually before. So CI/CD, monitoring, security, and automations, and so on and so forth. I'm using different technologies, as I said, so Azure, obviously, GCP, AWS. And regarding this security area, I'm working with Stara Open Policy and Sysitic Secure, which are two different technologies that helps securizing your infrastructure, either container-based or plain virtual machines. Again, aside of that, I'm doing a lot of stuff in the community, organizing events, speaking, running workshops. I'm running the Docker Lyon, the CNCF in Lyon, and other different committees. And I know that we are in international conference, but if you like to join us, then go ahead and join us. Obviously, talks and these conferences are in French, yes, but I mean, that's where we are. We don't mind. If you want to join us, then please join us. A little bit of a disclaimer: what I'm going to show in this session should not be used in production. This is not meant to be used in production. I will show different scenarios to play with different tools, but this is meant as for this demo for R&D dev test. Do not use them in production as they are not meant to do, and there's not enough security on this demo to use them in production. If you want to use them in production, then please reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you out to optimize and secure everything to use this same method but in productions. So how it all began? Basically, it all began with a client of mine where DBAs needed to test an application with the latest version of PostgreSQL. But as always, my laptop don't have enough memory. I don't have CPUs in my disk and blah, 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 blah. So the easier solution that we found was to open a super case and just said, hey, you know what? You're leveraging Azure. This is fine. We have someone with us who knows Azure, who knows how to leverage it. So how about you just create an account for us and we'll just leverage Azure services, which is what most companies do when they use Azure. Just ask for security credentials and the right credentials in your Azure subscription, leverage the portal, and there we go. That's basically what we want to do. The problem is here, is that the support team said, hey, we're sorry, but internal policy, security policy, we can't grant you the access. And the first reaction was, okay, come on, we have to test this. We have to make sure that our application is able to go to the upper versions of PostgreSQL. We don't need anything that's, let's say, big. We just want a PostgreSQL instance, and that's it. And obviously, so the DBA I was working on was kind of angry, and it was like, hey, what can we do? We can't work on this. I don't have the material, and so on and so forth. And that's where it hurts, because that's something that I tend to see more often than you think. This is something that I see from time to time where companies have highly strict support policy, and they don't want to grant you access to the portal. Either if you're on Azure, AWS, or Google, that's the same. We don't want to give you access to the portal. But if you want to leverage managed services, then how could you leverage managed services if you don't have access to the CLI, so the Azure CLI or the portal? It's always the same. You want to use Azure because you don't have enough resources on your laptop or on your machine. You want to lower the tool. You want to go fast and just test what you want to test, and that's it. But you are not allowed to do this. This is clearly a chicken and egg story. How could we leverage this? How could we fix this? And how could we move fast? Again, this is a one-shot solution, so we don't need to deploy production platform that will go on a different step. We just want to make sure that what we want to use works the way we built it, and we want to make sure that it behaves correctly. And that's where the hero comes. You don't have access to the portal, right? But funny thing is that Azure in this case, but not only Azure, AWS is the same, Google is the same, and different other cloud providers offers APIs that helps you to deploy your application, to deploy your platform without having to deal with, let's say, higher security credentials. In our case here, what we were focused to do with the DBA I was working on is, all right, so if we can't have access to the portal, what can we do to deploy a simple PostgreSQL instance right away and just test it and make it work? And at the time, as we were leveraging Azure, we would want to leverage infrastructure as code. That's what I pushed. It said, hey, you know what? We don't need access to this portal. We have different ways to deploy your application. We have different ways to deploy your PostgreSQL instance, and let things differently. That's where Terraform comes. We start working on explaining what Terraform is, how it is, what does infrastructure as code means, meaning that you will describe your infrastructure in a language that close to development language like Go, like C, and so on and so forth. And we wanted to leverage Terraform to say, how about we use Terraform to deploy everything at once, like the PostgreSQL instance, a monitoring application, for example, without having to deal with security policy and so on and so forth. What we needed was clearly simple. Service principal account, no need to portal access, definitely no need. What is a service principal account? Basically, those are specific Azure credentials that your IT support team can easily create for you. And by creating this service account, it will also give you the right credentials. So you'll be able, for example, to deploy your application in a certain resource group and not the other. You will have access to different managed services and not the other, and so on and so forth. So you are leveraging the API, but you don't have to get access to the portal. You don't have to get greater credentials. What you need simply is a service principal account, meaning a client ID, client secret, which is obviously secret. Don't let it out on your laptop, whatever. The subscription and the tenant ID. And that's it. Regarding Azure, that's it. Client ID, client secret, subscription, and that's it. Seems like I missed something bad here. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll miss that. So what's next comes? Terraform, obviously. How Terraform works, how it is, what's the language behind, how to leverage this infrastructure as code. And the last thing that we need here is a plain, simple bash script. We don't want to leverage anything else. Service principal account, a Terraform that easy as the binary itself and nothing else, and a simple bash script. That's what we needed to deploy PostgreSQL on Azure easily without any tool and to be able to test our application. I'm sorry for the slide. I haven't seen the my bad. The slide will be available, but as this talk will be mainly focused on the demo, you haven't missed anything. So we're fine. And one last word. I will show the demo now. We will move to the demos time. Don't use them in production. I will explain why, but please, when those scripts will be available, please, please, please don't use them in production. All right? Demo time. So what do we have here? On the right of my screen, we have a plain Azure subscription where I have access to the portal. I don't need it, and I will show you why. It's just to make sure that everything is working the way it behaves. On the right side, this is, on the left side, sorry, this is my Visual Studio Code where I have the code that I need. We'll go through this, and I will help you to understand how you can easily leverage Terraform with Azure credentials to deploy your PostgreSQL instance, right? So we have two demos here, demo 1, demo 2. Let's move to demo 1. So demo 1 is a plain, simple Terraform scripts. What we need is basically the provider. The provider means how we will allow Terraform to interact with our cloud provider. We will declare resources, so a resource group, which is some kind of a box where we will put all the resources we want to use, and PostgreSQL, and that's it. As you can see, the script is very, very simple. Provider, resource group, my PostgreSQL module, and that's it. And with that, I'm able to deploy my PostgreSQL instance in 3 minutes maximum. How does it work? We are leveraging an official PostgreSQL module for Terraform. This will allow us to deploy our PostgreSQL instance as a managed instance automatically. We just have to give him different variables that are declared, and we just want to add a little bit of security to make sure that we are not completely opening our PostgreSQL instance, even if it's for development, openly, right? So how does it work? This is my script. I have a variable script that hosts all the informations that I need. I told you, do not use this in production, especially because of this. As you can see, I let the password on the file. All right, so how does it work? Let's try it out. Let's do this. Let's go to demo 1. So Terraform uses 4 simple steps: init, plan, apply, destroy. Init is for the environment initialization, the providers that you want to use, the models that you want to use, and so on and so forth. Plan is for explaining what Terraform will do. We'll see that. Apply is asking Terraform to do that, and destroy is, as it says, plainly destroy everything. So let's start by doing a Terraform init. As you can see, it says initialization, provide plugins, and it then loads different plugins. In my case, the Azure RM provider only. We have the version here, and the version is exactly the one that has been set in my TF file. So define. Next step is plan, to make sure that we are not missing something. Let's open it a little bit bigger. That's pretty big. And there we go. So Terraform is telling me that it will create my PostgreSQL instance with different parameters. It will create 5 resources, and I have a little bit of warning here. So if everything goes fine, within 3 minutes, I will have my PostgreSQL instance up and running. So we do this. Photo, approve, and there we go. Bear with me a little bit, hoping the demo guys will be with me. All right, there we go. So what we see here is Terraform creating the resource. Everything in Terraform is the resource, and my PostgreSQL instance is a resource as well. So let it finish the deployment and shrink it a bit. To get back to the script itself, as you can see here, I have DB names here, and the funny thing is I can create different DB names. So I've said that I just want this database to be created empty, right? But I have also the ability to use advanced features to also add PostgreSQL configuration, or to load a PostgreSQL dump automatically. This is something that we worked with BDB, I've been working with. also to deploy everything at once and to load a dump without having to do everything manually. What is this, you might think? This is a variable here that is my, well, at least the public IP I'm using, and this is used here to only allow my machine to access to the PostgreSQL instance. This is very simple, and it helps me to only say, hey, you know what? I'm the only one who can access it. All right, shall we go? Please, please. I think demigods are against me, or not. All right, PostgreSQL has been created, and we should be good. All right, so we should be good. Let's get connected to the instance itself. Let's do this, and let's switch to data grid, PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL at Azure, user, password, here. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. I want to get the instance name. So I'm gonna cheat on my demo. This is not something that I'm willing to do, but anyway, let's cheat a little bit and make it things a little bit faster. I was running out of time. Please, 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 please. Come on. All right, there we go. That's what I wanted. And there we go. And if everything looks fine, let's test connections. Yes, because I missed something. And oopsie. There we go. And there we go. Test the connection. Okay. What's going on? Demo gods are against me? Like, seriously? Okay, we're good. And there we go. I can access to the database. And let's see if I see, I have the instance, and I have my database. And there we go. All right, let's move to the next step. Now I have my data in my database. How about we use the same mechanism to now deploy different things. So let's move a little bit faster to demo 2, and this demo here will deploy automatically the PostgreSQL instance, but I've added a virtual machine here, and this virtual machines will deploy, guess what? Percona management and monitoring server. How about we leverage this? Basically, I'm using the same script to deploy my PostgreSQL instance. I'm just creating another one here to deploy a virtual machines, and I'm just asking Terraform to use the file provider to push my script and the remote exec provider to deploy using my script. And this script basically installs Docker, pull the image here, create volumes, and start the Docker container. So again, Terraform init. And let's move to apply directly, which should not do again in production. Obviously, and within 2 minutes, we should be able to see everything running. Creating. I'm looking at the chat to see if we have probably questions. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat, then I'll be able to answer them while we wait for this final demo to work, and we'll see how it works. So again, same mechanism. I'm creating the PostgreSQL instance. I'm creating the virtual machine, and by the end of the time, the virtual machine will be deployed. And what you see here is the script that will deploy automatically the Percona management and monitoring solution. And again, if demo gods are with me, we should then be able to access this database and access this instance. Let's see, we have 5 more minutes, which should be more than enough to finish this. And again, if you have any question, please drop them in the chat or in the QA. Slides will be available, the scripts will be available on GitHub. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right, things are moving smoothly. Again, let's see how it goes here. Demo 2. I have my virtual machine, my IP. Everything is deploying. Nice. 3 minutes to go. I think we'll be finishing short on time. Let's see. No questions until now. All right, so Joachim asking, does the script RTF deploy the dashboard metrics for the database that you're trying to monitor? So Percona PMM comes automatically with a bunch of scripts loaded in. You don't need, and boom, there it goes. New password, let's say password. And there we are. And as I said, we have a bunch of script of dashboards that are already available here. Let me show you. So I have PostgreSQL, I have MySQL, I have MongoDB, and all this stuff like that. Let's do something funny like trying to connect it directly to the database. Let's see if we have time for this. PMM add instance, PostgreSQL, host name, service name, we don't care, username. This is my say add. Let's get the username variable pg admin and the super secret password labels, blah blah blah, add service, and boom, and there we are. We have deployed our PostgreSQL instance automatically. We have deployed the PMM server automatically, and we have connected the PMM server to the instance. If I go to Query Analytics, as you can see, it found my PostgreSQL instance, and I have access to queries. So that's how it goes. Very simple, plain Terraform scripts and a bunch of shell scripts. You don't need anything else to deploy your instance. And as you can see, it's very easy. Within 3 minutes, you have everything running up and running for your session or for your test. We are a few minutes left. If you have any more questions, then please drop them on the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. No questions? Again, I'm sorry for the slides at the beginning, but as you can see, where I do relocate the scripts for the metrics. So they are embedded into PMM directly, but you can either load your own. I can show you how it goes, or you can use tools like Wizzy to import or create your own dashboard. So for example, I can do import dashboard, and I can get them from grafana.com or copy paste a plain JSON file. And there's a call called Wizzy, Wazzy, which allows you to leverage a Git repository to manage your dashboard, push them into your payment instances, and manage them directly. You're more than welcome, Joachim. Any other questions, perhaps? Any live feedbacks, perhaps? Did you find this session interesting? Do you want to go a little bit further? Do you want to go a little bit deeper? Let me know so I can see how to work on different sessions also. Let me know what you think in the chat. Thank you. I'm happy that you liked it. I think we are right on time, Anka. I don't know if you are hearing me. Thank you for the opportunity. It was fun. It was fun too. Again, I'm sorry for the slide. I'll do better next time, hopefully. All right, seems that we're good for these sessions. Again, you have my contact. If you have any questions, please drop me a line by email, reach me out through the website, reach out to me throughout Twitter. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you for joining this session. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a lot. And again, if you want to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper, please let me know.